Swartz. Nicholas, you never met him, huh? Did you see him once?
I saw him 3 times.
Really?
The fucking Wiener Schnitzel.
Yep.
One time you walked down to that local, whatever.
American Legion.
Yep.
Oh,
I saw him on the street and on the bus.
And you saw him on the bus?
Yeah.
Wow. Rudy Swartz. Larry, you should remember Rudy Swartz. You know who he was, right?
Bullshit artist who claimed he was involved with Black Hawk Down.
He was in our unit. He was in 3rd Platoon. Rudy Swartz. You don't remember that freaking guy?
No.
It was in, let's see, I got back in the Guard in 94. And, yeah, it was 94. And I think it was just right before we went to summer camp. This thing like this. I better... Right before summer camp, Larry. Hey, there's Larry right there. His mask. Right, Larry? Yeah. Let's see. That was right before summer camp, Larry. 94. We were all outside in the parking lot. You know how they had the big gate, the big door on the side?
Yeah.
Okay. And it goes into the parking lot. You remember, it's right next to the... Right next where the old chow hall was at. Before they closed that off. I'm going to put my shirt on so I don't embarrass myself on camera. And Nicholas knows exactly what I'm talking about. Rudy Swartz. Mexican guy. And this guy, and even remember Randy Bounds? Randy even called him out. And this guy comes rolling in, Larry. I'm not sure. I think you were there. I think you were with us when this guy rolled in with his white Jeep. He was driving a white Jeep Cherokee. And he had on a license plate, says, combat wounded, with a purple heart thing. You know, combat wounded license plate? Yeah. And we're like, dude, I'm almost sure you were with us, Larry. I'm almost sure you were there. Because I know Sergeant Camacho was inside. And it was me, Bounds, a lot of 3rd Platoon guys, a couple guys from 2nd Platoon. I think Cheeky's was there too. He just got in the unit. It's a brand new E1. And I think you were there too. This guy comes in with his cheap Cherokee. And he gets out, closes the door. And I remember him from the Guard from 1991. I got back in 1990 to 91, and then I got out again because we missed Desert Storm. They didn't call us. But I remember that guy because he was in 3rd Platoon. And then apparently he was in, and then he got out. He came, and then this guy comes driving up. He had sunglasses on. He comes out of the car. He has these shorts on, his tennis shoes. And we looked at his combat wounded license plate, and we're like, what the hell? And he's like, yeah, hey, man. And we're like, and I'm like, I know this guy. I freaking know this guy. Because I remember him, he went out to the field with us a few times. Not with our platoon, but with 3rd Platoon. He's like, yeah, man. I was like, what? And one of the guys said, where'd you get the combat wounded license plate from? Oh, I was in Mogadishu. We're like, what? Look at Larry. Watch Larry. Okay. Give him the look of... He said he was in Mogadishu, Larry. Okay, look at Larry doing this, right? He says he was in Mogadishu. Okay, this is in 94. Mogadishu was in 93, right?
Yeah.
Gothic Serpent. Okay. And Nicholas knows this. Seen this fucking clown before. And this guy... And he was like just standing there. I was in Mogadishu, and I remember Mogadishu on the TV. I remembered it. You probably remembered it. All the guys in the Guard knew Mogadishu. We're like, wait a minute, what? Yeah, man, I was in Mogadishu, man. Oh, there's Gramps, Nicholas.
Gotta get Gramps.
What do you want? And he had on his arm, he had a Ranger right here. Had a Ranger tab and some jump wings on his arm, like this. We're like, what? And Randy says, dude, you were in the National Guard like in 1990. And he's talking like this. Yeah, well, I got out, I transferred out, and I went regular Army. He's like this. He was like this. He had this kind of look, Larry. He had like, yeah, man. He had these sunglasses, you know, kind of like my glasses, but he was like this. He had this fucking stupid hat. He was like, had his arms folded like this. Yeah, man. I went in regular Army, and I went to jump school, and I went to Ranger school, and I joined the 2nd Rangers. Randy's like, what? And Bounds is like, what? Randy says, who the hell is this guy? He's like, dude, we remember you like 2 years ago or 3 years ago. He's like, yeah, man, you know. I said, okay, wise ass. So, and Randy, you know how Bounds is. He says, where'd you get shot? Oh, I got shot in the ass. He's going, bullshit. So Randy started calling him out, and a couple other guys called him out. He was like, you know. And the guys in 3rd Platoon, they said, this guy's always with the stories, you know. And he says he's just a shitbag National Guardsman, dude. And he drove away. He got in his vehicle, he drove away. And then me and Nicholas saw this guy at the Wiener Schnitzel, huh? Yeah. About, what, 20-something, 30 years later?
Around 2008 or 9, because we were in the house, and we went up to Wiener Schnitzel to eat.
Yeah. And this guy, he had his tattoos on his arm. You know, the Ranger tab and the jump wings? Yeah. Then he had a G.I. Joe soldier right here. And on this arm, he had a Medal of Honor tattooed on his arm. All right, wait a minute. Check it out. Larry. He did. He had a Medal of Honor tattooed on his arm. Okay? But, the Medal of Honor had some Latino's name on it as a tribute. And I'm like... And I said, when I saw him, I said, you know what? I know you from somewhere. I couldn't quite place the face yet. And I was like, yeah. And he says, oh, you know, I'm in the American Legion, right, Nicholas?
Yeah.
And I said, oh, I can join the American Legion. I was in the National Guard. He says, hey, you were over in Glendale. And I said, yeah. And he says, I was there too. I was in the Glendale National Guard. I was in 3rd Platoon. And I was like, and he told me his name was Rudy Swartz. I says, I know this fucking dude. This guy's like a big...
Fucking bullshitter.
He was a big-time bullshitter. I'm like... And I'm thinking to myself, oh my God, well maybe he straightened up, joined a unit, and actually went overseas. So I'm thinking maybe it washed all the bullshit away of him saying he was in Desert Storm and Mogadishu, which he did mention once. I'm thinking maybe he joined a different unit, right? Maybe went in the regular Army later on, and maybe went overseas to Afghanistan or Iraq or something. So that would be okay. I would be okay with that. I'd be okay. No problem. But he was like, yeah, man, and all this other stuff. And he said he had pictures and all this other crazy shit. And I'm like, oh, okay. He says, yeah, I remember you. You was in 1st Platoon. I said, I was in 1st Platoon. Sergeant Camacho's platoon. He says, yeah, oh, okay. And he says, why don't you come on by the American Legion? You know? I said, yeah, okay. So like a week later, or a week and a half, maybe 2 weeks later when they were open, I went over there. And I went over there, and I went over there, Larry. Jeff is laughing. I went over there, Larry. So look, I'm going to show Larry again. That's right, Larry's doing that. And, yeah, and then Rudy Swartz was there. I was like, oh, wow. And he had this, he says, oh, yeah, you know, have a seat, man. So I'm sitting there. They had the bar going, the game going on. They had that 7.7 machine gun that was in there, Japanese machine gun. I was like, oh, this is great. He says, oh, yeah, man, you know, let me tell you. He goes, so what happened to you after you got out of the Guard? And I said, oh, well, I was in the Guard for a long time. You know, on 9/11, I went on 3 deployments and all that. Oh, man, yeah, you more than enough qualified for joining the American Legion. Yeah. He says, well, you know, let me tell you, man, I went to Afghanistan 3 times. I went to Iraq 4 times. I just looked at him like this. What the fuck? Yeah, you know, now I'm the, he says he's like the second in command of the Legion Hall up here, Legion Hall 206. He's like, yeah, you know. I said, you went to Afghanistan and Iraq. Yeah. I said, with who? He said he went with the Special Forces. I'm like, what the f... And he took these pictures out, Larry. He took these pictures out. Okay? One guy was standing next to some sort of fucking Haji, and it was dark, had this big beard, these sunglasses, and he had like the fucking cap turned backwards, right? And he's sitting there doing this, Larry, the picture, with his rifle like this. He says, well, this is me. And I looked at it. You can't even tell the guy's fucking face. I said, oh yeah, and here's another one when I was over there on assignment, and he showed me another one, and it's got the full beard, the sunglasses. He had a schmuck like this around his nose. It could be anybody. No name tapes. He's wearing, you know, body armor, and he's got an M4 like this. And I went, okay. And I'm like, that's you. I flipped the thing on the back to look, to see if there's anything on the back. Yeah, and that's it. And here's me when I was in Iraq. Shows the same kind of guy, this time in different kind of tanned uniforms, with body armor, with a shitload of magazines on him, you know, like a Gyardo, like a Ratner. Yeah. And he's got an M4 like this, you know, and you can't even tell who the fucking guy was. All 3 of these goddamn pictures, you probably just picked off the internet. I'm like, I said, I can't even tell if that's you or not. You know, and he did mess up on one picture. There's Larry. Messed up on one picture. It had a picture of this guy with his sleeves up, with gloves, right, Larry? With gloves, but those tattoos are not on his arms. The tattoos are not on the arms. So I was like, oh shit, tell me about this picture. Where were you? Oh, Dad, I was in Afghanistan. I went, oh, really? When was this, you know? He goes, oh, that was 2005. Hey, Larry, 2005. So, did he wear makeup on his arm to hide his tattoos? Because he had those tattoos back in '94.
Yeah, what about Mogadishu?
Yeah. Oh, I did ask him about Mogadishu. I was like, so you were in Mogadishu, right? He says, yeah. I says, I remember you was telling me you got shot. Oh, yeah, I did. I got shot. And he says, where'd you get shot at? He goes, oh, in the leg. How did the bullet, I'm thinking to myself, travel from his leg up to his ass? Or his ass down to his leg? You remember what he said? That he got shot in the ass back in '94 in Mogadishu? Also, Larry, Nicholas, I know you're not smiling because you heard the story before, but it is funny. I remember the book, Black Hawk Down?
Yeah.
I took that book, and this is before I went to go see Swartz. I opened up the book to the back. The back of the book, by the guy who wrote the book, had the names of all the Rangers that was killed and wounded in action in Mogadishu. There was no Rudy Swartz in there. Oh, shit.
And the Rangers and Delta Force.
The Delta Force guys are also in there, too, and there was no Rudy Swartz in the Delta Force. Oh, my God. Oh, my God, dude. I was like, oh, shit. I said, so you were in Desert Storm, Mogadishu, Afghanistan, and Iraq. He goes, yep. I was like, I was like, what the?
Sounds like another Dylan.
Sounds like another Dylan, huh? I was in the CIA, and I was, oh my God, dude. Oh, Jesus. Oh, shit. And I was like, really? He's like, oh, yeah, you know. And this is, I was like, you know, and he says, you need to bring your DD-214 in and everything. And so I brought a copy of it in there, and it promptly up and disappeared. So probably what this jackweed did is probably take all the DD-214s from everybody that they gathered up to join their Legion. And they probably took it and cut out pieces of the DD-214, lightly glue it onto another DD-214 or a blank one, and then make copies of it and say that's his DD-214. So when I asked the post commander, are there any Iraq war veterans that was in the VFW, I mean, in the American Legion, he says, I was the only one as of yet. So that means in order for this guy, he says there was 2 Afghanistan veterans that were there. So probably what he did, he probably cut out the remarks down in, you know, box 13 or 11 where they went to, and he probably took that, made a copy of it, cut it out, put it on an empty DD-214, glued all this other stuff in, and take his DD-214, which means he didn't do shit. He took his name, glued it on. Right, Larry? All the appropriate times, make copies, and there you go. Look at Larry.
Counterfeit.
Yeah, counterfeit DD-214. So basically, this guy Swartz got in a lot of trouble when he was embezzling money from the Legion Hall. And they found out he was a full-blown liar, so he got ejected from the American Legion Hall, never to return. They got his name on a roster that he can't come back ever again. Look at Larry. Ever again, the VFW, and same thing with the VFW. They didn't press charges to have him thrown in jail, so they did the next best thing, is eject him. So next time when I saw him like a few years ago. I was like, oh wow, Rudy Swartz. And he goes, he just did this to me. I says, hey, what's going on at the Legion? He just did this. And he got on his bicycle and rode away. There's your story about Rudy Swartz.